oneness of humanity matures, bridging gaps, bringing us closer together in a myriad of ways. More and more often it seems I hear references to the oneness of humanity, right? How we're all interconnected, made out of the very same stuff, brothers and sisters, one big human family. Yet, how easy it seems for us to look around the world, even in our own backyards, and depict more signs of disconnect than connectedness, more signs of disunity than oneness. And the more I consider the possible reasons for this, the more I wonder if it could possibly be as simple as, this is what we spend most of our time focused on. How bad things are. How judgmental, separatist, and racist people can be. And could it be that we spend so much of our time and energy focused on disunity, we often find ourselves discouraged, overwhelmed, and have little time or energy left to spend elsewhere? And I often wonder, what would happen if we shifted our focus to an abundance of unity rather than a lack of it? I think most of us, myself included, have come to view unity as some far-off idealistic future of humanity, one that we're determined to play a role in directing the course of, but not likely to see in our lifetime. And it is my hope to simply encourage us all to challenge one another, to embrace a much broader, more universal truth of unity. The Buddha said the delusion that we are separate from one another is our greatest cause for attachment, and attachment is our deepest cause of unhappiness. And in Galatians 3:28 it is written, there is neither Jew nor Greek, neither slave nor free, neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ. And Muhammad said God is unity. Abdul-Baha said to know oneself is to know God, and that unity is inevitable, unavoidable. The Universal House of Justice recently said that unity is an unstoppable force. So according to the messages of most major world religions, as well as many independent movements around the world, unity is a universal truth, an inevitable, unstoppable force. So I want you to think about something for a second. What happens when we stand in the way of an unstoppable force? Blessed are those who know that every moment is a gift, those who know life can't be lived in the past. Blessed are those who couldn't find a word to criticize another, knowing what goes around always comes back. And blessed are those who live unassuming, those who know how to forgive and forget, and don't take for granted all they've been given, building a life free of guilt and regret. Blessed are those who look beyond the trouble for an answer, knowing it serves not one to complain. Blessed are those who take responsibility for their doing, rather than searching for someone to blame. Blessed are those free of illusion, those who have faith and courage to shine and lead with compassion, kindness and grace, changing the world one life blessed are those. So by the time I was about 12 years old, I had become fascinated with world religions. I studied what I believed to be every religion in the world, pre-internet, at 12 years old. In fact, I was baptized so many times by the time I was 16, actually between the ages of 12 and 16, that if there is a heaven, I'd really like to believe I've pretty well secured my place there. But somewhere around 16, I began to feel as if something was not quite right. I found myself saying, I simply don't wish to be a part of anything, any group, any religion that excludes anyone for any reason. And somewhere in my late teens, I met an incredible life changer for me. I discovered something so magnificent that it took me years to comprehend, that this was not just a great concept to consider. Rather, this was a huge gift with practical applications for the kind of life I desired to live. And it wasn't Baha'i faith just yet. That came later. What I discovered was that the behavior of others ultimately reflects the way they have been conditioned to feel about themselves, and has nothing to do with me personally, including my parents. In fact, human behavior is based predominantly on stories that we tell ourselves, most of which came from someone else's stories and have been handed down for generations. And this awareness made it possible for me to make a real distinction between human beings and their behavior. I was then able to begin to separate my emotions and my ego from the behavior and still love the person, regardless of how I felt about the behavior. And now I've come to understand that my responsibility as a human being is to simply hold all in a kind and loving light, without ever allowing myself to believe I am in any way superior or better than. And more recently, I've come to the conclusion that in order for us to begin to experience the true power and light of unity, we must discontinue taking the behavior of others personally. Remove the imaginary lines that we have drawn and use as our excuse to move away from one another, because the behavior of others, although we may allow it to greatly affect us, is not about us. If another should treat us as if we are inferior, or even superior for that matter, to them, does that make it true? Then why would we ever react as if it is? You know, recently I was greatly affected by a story that a friend of mine posted on Facebook. And I even shared it on Facebook to see just kind of what reactions I might get out of it, just to see where other people's views kind of were. And I'm going to read this to you because this is something that really struck me interesting, and what I got out of it and what I think a lot of the people that posted on my page actually got out of it was very, very different. So there was a panel of political leaders from the United States, and they were part of the United Nations. There were 4 of them, 3 males and 1 female, sitting on this panel, and they were answering questions in a live forum with an audience such as this. They were answering questions, and the whole thing was about what most recently happened in Benghazi, right? And there was a young female Muslim American law student addressing this panel, and she simply asked 2 questions. She said, how can you fight an ideological war with weapons? And how can we ever expect to win this war if we do not address it ideologically? Great question. But you will see here in just a second that this woman who answered the question didn't really answer the question at all. The woman on the panel decided to take this question, and she said, I'm so glad you asked this, and I wish you'd have brought more of your friends. She said, there are 1.2 billion Muslims in the world today. The majority of them are peaceful people. It is estimated that only 15 to 25% of the world Muslim population are considered radicals. But when you look at 15 to 25% of the Muslim population of the world, you are looking at 180 to 300 million people dedicated to the destruction of Western civilization. So why should we worry about the radical 15 to 25%? Because it is the radicals that kill and massacre. She went on to say, when you look throughout history, most Germans were peaceful people. Yet it was the Nazis who drove the agenda and 60 million people died. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. Most Chinese were peaceful people as well. Yet they were able to kill 70 million people. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. Most Russians were peaceful people. Yet they were able to kill over 20 million people. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. And when you look at Japan, prior to World War II, most Japanese were peaceful people as well. Yet Japan was able to butcher its way across Southeast Asia, killing 12 million people, mostly with bayonets and shovels. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. And on September 11th in the United States, we had 2.3 million Arab Muslims living in the United States. And it took 19 radicals to bring America to its knees, destroy the World Trade Center, attack the Pentagon, and kill 3,000 people that day. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. That was her response to the question, how do you expect to fight or win an ideological war with weapons? I didn't really hear an answer. I heard her own agenda, and that's what people were upset about. But what I realized is this. First of all, I need to say, I didn't mention this to create any kind of prejudice or animosity or instill any fear of any kind. I shared this with you because regardless of whether or not the responder meant to or even realized that she did this, she made it very clear to me that the radical population of the world does not solely rest on the backs of one particular race, creed, ethnicity, or country. The radical population of the world is made up of human beings, of all races and all creeds. They are born of every nation and consist of people who have simply gotten lost in their own stories and cannot seem to find a guiding light to lead them to a more peaceful solution. But most importantly, I shared this because it lit a fire in my soul and made me realize how much harder I am willing to work to encourage the peaceful majority of this world, of all faiths, all nations, and all races, to disregard our differences, stand together, and move out of the way of this unstoppable force to become that missing guiding light. Because this is what it's going to take to ensure a just and peaceful life for every human being. We have to work together to be relevant. If we could soften just enough, grace will lead us to meet people where they are, without judgment or expectation, but never leave them where we found them. We laugh, we dream, we cry, and we need. We all hope, we pray, we love, and we bleed. This heart inside my chest is beating just like yours. Between you and me, I think they got it all wrong. They made it all up with their fearful hearts and eyes wide shut. When I look at you, I see no difference between you and me. rise, we all hurt, we run, we grow, and we try. Your arms can comfort me like mine can comfort you. Between you and me, I think they got it all wrong. They made it all up with their fearful hearts, and that's what should. When I look at you, I see no difference between you and me. We share, we learn, we change, we believe that it's time to unite and stand for peace between you and me. Thank you so much. You know, the Universal House of Justice claims that the rational soul knows no gender, no race, no ethnicity, or class. They tell us that humanity constitutes a single people. If this is true, then unity is intrinsic. The very nature of the universe. It does not need to be supplied or justified. It happens to be our birthright. Therefore, the very idea of disunity, separation, and inequality are mere delusions, even impossibilities, if you will. Any behavior that reflects disunity is based on nothing more than stories that we tell ourselves. These may very well be the grandest delusions of all time, creating the greatest suffering of the human experience, but only because on some level and in some way, we believe them. We not only believe the stories that we've been told for generations regarding race relations, gender inequality, nationalism, religious disharmony, gaps between rich and poor, but we continue to share these stories with others, as if we are sharing our very own truth. Yet these stories, these delusions, may very well be the only thing keeping us from fully tapping into the greatest healing source in existence. And how many of us have been affected by, angered, or hurt by what we call racism? Anybody? Sure, okay. How many of us are disheartened by the lines drawn between nations? I kind of want to live in Canada, but they won't let me because I'm an American citizen, so that kind of bothers me. The inequality between men and women, anybody bothered by that? My favorite, the discord amongst the world's religions. Yet how many of us are still willing to separate out groups of people based on race, gender, religious beliefs, or socioeconomic status, and label these groups minorities, encouraging one another to treat them differently somehow? Are we one global human family, or are we not? And if we include every human being in the world in this incredible family, are we even aware of who the supposed minority groups actually are? Let's begin with the wealthy. Put into the global perspective, the wealthy are one of the most minuscule in numbers. On the stage of major world religions, Baha'is would be considered a minority. I am a minority in this global human family. Not because I'm wealthy, I'm a musician. And not because I'm Baha'i. Not even because I'm female. But because I'm white. People of color outnumber whites in this global human family at least 2 to 1. Are we prepared to shift our care and concern to these minority groups? Because with all of my heart, I truly believe we would all just like to be included in this global family. And there is absolutely no need for such labeling. One of my favorite quotes from the Universal House of Justice recently reads, "Clearly what the Baha'is see as one aspect of their contribution cannot contradict the other. They cannot be seeking to establish patterns of thought and action that give expression to the oneness of humanity, yet engage in activities that reinforce an entirely different set of assumptions about social existence." Blew my mind. I had to read it about 50 times. So now that you kind of know who I am a little bit, I'm actually going to ask you to sing with me. I decided when I wrote this song to go around the world and sing it until everybody was singing along, so you kind of have to. So I can check Pensacola off my list of places I've been and had people singing along. It's really easy. I'll give you your part, and then you're just going to sing it over and over again, because we need to. Or I'll play it for 30 minutes straight until you're all singing. It's okay. I don't even care if you only sing in the shower. It's okay. Nobody cares here at all. I just need a nice big full choir. You ready? Yes. God bless the whole wide world. Every single man and woman, every boy and girl, every creed and every nation, red and yellow, black and white, every thought and action, be it wrong or right, the rivers and the oceans, the mountains and the trees, the sun, the moon, the air that we breathe. Oh, God bless. This is your part. The whole wide world. All right, let's do that again now that you know it. God bless the whole wide world. No exceptions. The takers and the givers. The weary and the strong, the grateful, the greedy, the old and the young, the lovers and the fighters, the winners and the losers, the poor, the wealthy, the beggars and the choosers. God bless the whole wide world. God bless the whole wide world, no exceptions. May we look with our eyes, but see with our hearts. May we break down the walls that keep us apart. May compassion reign. May love find a way. May we wake up to a brand new day. The powerful, the helpless, the lost and found, the hopeless, the hopeful, the free and the bound, the innocent, the guilty, the foolish and the wise, the hungry, the wasteful, the leaders and the blind. Oh, every boy and girl. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. So Mother Teresa once said, "May God break my heart so wide open that the whole world falls in." Is it possible that we simply allow ourselves to think way too small of ourselves and of one another? So I grew up in a home raised by alcoholic and drug-addicted parents. And as a child, I cannot tell you what I endured more of: abuse or neglect. I could have chosen to dwell on this for the rest of my life, feel sorry for myself. And many people do. But what good would that do me? And how would that serve humanity? I could choose to hate my parents and blame them for all the pain and suffering they created. But wouldn't that be ironic? If the pain and suffering is what I would like to rid myself of, why in the world would I allow it to fester and boil inside of me by choosing to remain angry or unhappy? I cannot go back and change what has been. But if I've learned anything at all through this entire life of mine thus far, it is that the sun is never going to rise in the past. And I don't want a day to go by without finding immense gratitude for all of the tests and trials in my life. For what else is capable of showing us the capacity of the human spirit? This delusion of separation and disunity has been allowed to control our behavior, diminish the quality of our existence, and define in many ways the physical human experience for far too long. Imagine shifting our consciousness to come from a place of knowing that our responsibility is not to create unity. Rather, our responsibility is to move out of the way of this unstoppable force and learn to use the power and the light of this unity to encourage behavior, beginning with our own. Together is the only way that we can, and we must, rewrite this story and disallow the delusion to continue directing the course of humanity. If we knew the truth of the real power of unity, we would know that we are all, every one of us, connected in a way that cannot be undone, regardless of thought, behavior, belief, or distance. And all of our work and our every action would reflect this knowing. We would look one another in the eye and say with the utmost certainty, "I am you, and you are me." If thoughts of war can be opposed by stronger thoughts of peace, and thoughts of hatred can be destroyed by stronger thoughts of love, would it not make sense then to say that thoughts of disunity and separation could be dissolved by stronger thoughts of unity? To stop the suffering, we must cease to resist the truth, because the truth does not discontinue being the truth just because we resist it. We can no longer afford to come from a place of believing it's possible someday. We must begin to operate from a place of knowing that intrinsically we are already one, already connected, already equal. We are unity. Baha'u'llah did not say, "So powerful will be the light of unity one day that it can illuminate the whole earth." He said, "So powerful is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth." Shut your eyes to estrangement, then fix your gaze upon unity. O children of men, know ye not why ye were created all from the same dust, that none should exalt himself over the other? Ponder at all times in your hearts how ye were created. Since we have created you all from the same substance, it is incumbent on you to be even as one soul, to walk with the same feet, eat with the same mouth, and dwell in the same land, that from your inmost being, by your deeds and actions, the signs of oneness and the essence of detachment may be made manifest. In every moment, every single moment, we have at our disposal an unstoppable force, capable of mending every crack in every family, filling every hole in every neighborhood, and every void in every country, so that every heart will share this same truth. We've been stuck here too long. We have suffered long enough. Let us move out of the way of this unstoppable force. And as the Beatles might say, let it be. One glance, one smile, one word, one heart, one mile, one step closer now, one hand reaching out, what love can do. I won't give up, I won't give up, I won't give up, I stand with you. I won't give up, I won't give up on us. One ear listening, one heart opening, one long sweet embrace, one more sign of praise. What love can do, I won't give up, I won't give up, I won't give up, I stand with you. I won't give up, I won't give up on us. One voice, one heart, one soul, one country, one body, one mind, one humankind. One voice, one heart, one soul, one country, one body, one mind. Oh, just one humankind. What love can do, I won't give up, I won't give up, I won't give up, I stand with you. I won't give up, I won't give up on us. You know, Abdul-Baha said the wrong in the world continues to exist because people talk only of their ideals and do not strive to put them into practice. If actions took the place of words, the world's misery would very soon be changed.